Good morning, students. Today I'll be explaining you about linear programming problem, how to solve a linear programming problem. So before going to the solution of a linear programming problem, first let me tell you what is a linear programming problem. Okay, so this linear programming problem is also abbreviated as LPP. So this is one of the most important techniques, optimization techniques in the field of operation research. Okay, so this method is used to find the number of units to be produced to get the maximum profit, or the number of units to be bought with a minimum cost. Then how many units we have to buy, or how many units we have to produce to get maximum profit. So to solve such type of problems, we'll be using linear programming problem. So here linear means what? It's a linear equation type. You have an equation of which is linear. Now how to solve that linear programming problem? You have different methods. So before going to that method, let me tell you how a linear programming problem will be. Okay? So a typical linear programming problem, we call it as general linear programming problem, LPP. So how a general linear programming problem will look like? So you will have maximize z is equals to c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus so on plus cn x. Then you will have subject to constraints a1 x1 plus a11 x1 a12 x2 plus so on plus a1n xn. It may be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to b1. Then you will have a21 x1 plus a22 x2 plus so on plus a2n xn. So it can be anything. It may be less than or equal to, greater than or equal to b2. Then you will have am1 x1 plus am2 x2 plus so on plus amn xn less than or equal to or greater than or equal to bm x1 x2 so on up to xn greater than or equal to 0. So this is the structure of a typical linear programming problem. So what is this maximize z? What are these constraints? What is this restriction that I'll tell? So this function z is a function which we have to maximize or it can be minimized. If it is a profit problem, we'll try to maximize it. If it is a minimal cost problem, we'll try to minimize the cost. So this function z is known as objective function. So this is objective function. And to get this objective function, you'll have certain restrictions or certain conditions. Those conditions are known as constraints. So you have to maximize this function subject to these conditions. So these are called as constraints. And this here x1, x2, xn are the variables known as decision variables. So these variables may be number of units, and c1, c2, cn are the cost associated with those variables. So here x1, x2, xn are the physical quantities. I said it will be number of units, so they are the physical quantities, and physical quantities will be always positive. You will not have negative values. So these variables x1, x2, xn are greater than or equal to 0 always. And these variables are called as decision variables. So the variables which we determine are called as decision variables. So this is the structure of a linear programming problem. This is known as general linear programming problem. And here this b1, b2, bm should also be positive. Now I will explain you with an example. So this is a general linear programming problem. Now to solve this problem, you have different methods. What are the methods you have? So to solve a linear programming problem, you have different methods. Methods to solve LPP and NPP. First one is simplex method. Second one you have big M method, which is also called as penalty method. Third one you have two-phase simplex method. Two-phase simplex method. So these are the three methods you will be having to solve a linear programming problem. Okay, we will discuss each one of them. First in today's sessions I will tell you about simplex method. And if you are perfect in the simplex method, then these two methods will be easy. So the basis for this methods is also simplex method only. So what is a simplex method? How to solve simplex method problem? That I will explain you with an example. So suppose I have a problem like this. Solve the following LPP. Solve the following LPP using simplex method. Then how to solve it? What is that LPP? Maximize z is equals to 3x1 plus 2x2. Say subject to constraints, I will write it as s dot t dot c. That means subject to constraints x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 4, x1 minus x2 less than or equal to 2, and x1, x2 are greater than or equal to 0. So this is a linear programming problem which we have to solve with a simplex method. So what are the steps we have to follow in simplex method? So first you have to see whether the given problem is a maximization problem or minimization problem. So here you have a maximization problem. So if it is a minimization problem, suppose it is a minimization problem, then you have to convert it into maximization problem. How will you convert into maximization problem? Using this relation, minimize of z is equals to minus of maximize of minus z. So if the objective function, I told you this is the objective function. If objective function is maximize, go to next step. If it is minimize, convert into maximization problem using the relation minimize of z is equals to minus of maximize of minus z. Next what you have to do, you have to check whether these bi's are positive or not. Okay, so first step is this. Second step is there, what? Check if all bi's are greater than or equal to 0. If any one of the b value is negative, you should make it positive by multiplying the constraint throughout with minus 1. Okay, so here you have positive, so no need to do this step also. Next step is what? You have to convert the LPP into a standard LPP. How will you convert the LPP into a standard LPP? By converting these inequations to equations. So how will you convert these inequations to equations? What I'll do is, I will add you'll have two types of variables. We'll be using two types of variables to convert these inequations to equations. So what are those two types of variables? One is slack variable, another one is surplus variable. Now when to use these variables? Slack variables are added if you have constraints of less than or equal to type. So these are added to less than or equal to type of constraints, and these slack variables we denote it as s1, small s1, small s2 like that, and their cost is 0. Cost associated with those slack variables is 0. Surplus variables are used when you have greater than or equal to type of constraints, and here we subtract it. Okay, here also we will denote them as S1, S2, so on. and cost of these variables is also 0. So from name itself we can make out slack means we are a deficit of it. That means we have less quantity. So when we have less quantity, that means less than or equal to, we'll try to add it. Okay, so we are adding. Surplus means we have in more quantities. So what we'll do, we'll try to take out some quantity. So that's why we are subtracting it. Now we have to check. We have to decide which variables we have to use based on this inequality. Now in this problem you have less than or equal to type of inequalities. So I will be using slack variables. So third step is you have to convert inequations into equations using necessary slack or surplus variables, whichever you need it. Okay. So now we convert this problem into a standard LPP. Now how to write it into a standard LPP? I'll write here. Now the standard LPP will be maximize z is equals to, you have 3x1 plus 2x2 subject to constraints. First constraint is x1 plus x2. I have to make this equal to, and I have less than or equal to. That means what I should do? I should add a slack variable. So plus s1 is equals to 4. And the cost of this I have to write here it as 0 into s1. Similarly, second constraint x1 minus x2, again less than or equal to constraints. So I'll add another slack variable s2 which is equal to 2, and cost of this s2 in the objective function is 0. And here x1, x2, s1, s2 greater than or equal to 0. So the slack and surplus variables are also non-negative variables. Now I have converted that problem into a standard linear programming problem. Now I can solve it. Now to solve this, we have to draw the simplex table. So how to draw a simplex table, I'll tell you here. What are the columns we should draw in a simplex table? So these are the columns you will be having in a simplex table. And this is how you should draw a simplex table. You should always mention these columns only. You should not draw in between any rows. So this is the structure of a simplex table which you have to follow. It's a standard structure. Now what is the CB, XB, BI? CB is cost of the basic variables. XB is what are the basic variables. X1, X2, S1, S2, you have to write here their coefficients. BI is this right hand side values. CJ are cost of these variables, cost associated with these variables. So these are the CJ values which you have in the objective function. Okay. Now how to write which are the basic variables? I have 4 variables now. I have x1, I have x2, I have s1 and s2. So which 2 variables should I write here? To decide that, what I have to do is, what I'll do is, easy method is, you form a matrix form of these constraints. So what is the matrix form of those constraints? I have x1, x2, s1, s2. So here x1 coefficient is 1, 1, x2 coefficient is 1 minus 1, s1 is, in the first one you have 1, I don't have any s1 in the second equation, so I'll write it as 0. I don't have any s2 in the first equation, so I'll write 0. In second equation I have 1. Now identify the variables which are forming a identity matrix. So here these 2 variables are forming an identity matrix. That is S1 and S2 are forming identity matrix. So this S1 and S2 should come in this column XB. So here I will write S1 and here I will write S2. Okay. Now here write their cost. First fill up this part CJ. Cost associated with x1 is 3. Cost associated with x2 in the objective function is 2. S1 it is 0, S2 it is 0. So here in CV column, write the cost of these variables. Cost of these variables is 0. So here I will write 0. Now write the remaining values. Here B1 is 4, B2 is 2. Write the matrix 1, 1, minus 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. So always remember this, whatever variables you have in XB column, it should form an identity matrix. Okay. Now here this last column will be ratio. So this is ratio is between BI and most negative column. What is this most negative column? I will tell you. Once you have filled up this simplex table, now you find Zj minus Cj. This is called as net evaluations. Zj minus Cj's are called as net evaluations. How to find the Zj minus Cj's? You have to start from here. CB into these columns. So 0 into 1 plus 0 into 1, that is 0. 0 into 1 plus 0 into minus 1, 0. 0 into 1 plus, see what you have to do? Zj minus Cj means 0 into 1. So first we will find Zj, then it will be easy. Instead of this, first let me find Zj. So Zj will be what? 0 into 4 plus 0 into 2. So 0. 0 into 1 plus 0 into 1. 0. 0 into 1 plus 0 into minus 1. 0. 0 into 1 plus 0 into 0. 0. 0 into 0 plus 0 into 1. 0. Now you find Zj minus Cj's, which are nothing but net evaluations. So these are Zj values and these are Cj values. For this you don't have any Cj value. So you will not find net evaluation for this one. You will find net evaluations from this only. So 0 minus 3, minus 3. 0 minus 2, minus 2. 0 minus 0, 0. 0 minus 0 minus 0, 0. Now we have to check whether all the net evaluations are greater than or equal to 0 or not. Okay. So if all the net evaluations are greater than or equal to 0, then the given problem has been solved. That means you have got the optimum solution. If any one of the net evaluations are negative, you have to go to next step. So here I have negative values. That means I didn't get the final solution. So here I have two negative values. Which one I should select? So select the most negative value. Now which is the most negative value here? Here minus 3 is the most negative. Put a tick mark to this minus 3. Now this most negative column is corresponding to which variable? X1. Now x1 should come in this column. That means it should enter the basis. Now when this x1 should enter the basis, one of the variables should leave the basis. Now how to decide which variable should leave the basis? Shall I remove x1 and write x1, or shall I remove x2 and write x1? How to decide that? That decision is made based on this ratio. Okay, so that's why we calculate that ratio. So which ratio we have to find? This most negative column. What we are getting most negative column is corresponding to x1. So I'll divide this bi with this x1 elements. So this will be 4 by 1, which is 4, then 2 by 1, which is 2. Now which is minimum? Select minimum of these two ratios. So 2 is minimum. Now corresponding to this 2, which variable you have? You have S2. Now S2 should leave the basis. Now in place of S2, X1 will come. And the intersection of this most negative column and minimum ratio element is known as pivot element. This is known as pivot element. And that pivot element, you should represent it in a box, square box. Now you have to again rearrange the simplex table. Again draw the simplex table. I'm drawing it this side. So this will be CB, XB, BI, X1, X2, S1, S2. Here you will have minimum ratio, and here you will have CGs. And remember this, you are finding ratio for this most negative column, and when you are finding ratios, the elements in this most negative column should be positive. If you have any negative, don't find ratio to that element. So you calculate ratios only to the positive values in the most negative column. This cost we know, this is 3, this is 2, this is 0, 0. It will be as it is throughout the problem. Only the values inside this will change. Now first S1 is as it is. In place of S2 what we are getting? X1. Cost of S1 is 0. Cost of X1 is 3. So I told you whichever variables are occupying this XB column, they should form an identity matrix. Now here X1 is coming. In place of X1, do you have an identity matrix? No, you don't have an identity matrix. So to make this as an identity matrix, we'll use row transformations. Now how to make the row transformations? We'll start making row transformations from the row which have pivot element. So here I have pivot element in the second row. So I'll make the transformation first to that row. That is second row, I'll make the transformation. What is the transformation I have to make? I have to make transformations in that row in such a way that the pivot element is always 1. Now here in this problem it is because 1, I can write directly R2 as R2. If I have pivot element here as 5, I should divide this second row from BI with 5 so that it will become 1. Now, and all other elements in that column should be 0. Okay. Remember, we have to make the pivot element as 1 and all other elements in that column as zeros using row transformations. So we will start from the row which is having pivot element. Because we have second row as the pivot element, I am starting with R2, and because here pivot element is already 1, I will write R2 as R2 only. So here I will write it as 2, 1, minus 1, 0, 1. Now go to R1. Now here I should make this as 0. How to make this as 0? To make this 0, now this is my R2. Now this R2 is gone. To make transformation to this row, this is my R2 now. Now here I have 1. Here I have 1. I should make this 0 means what? I should subtract R1 with R2. So R1 is R1 minus R2. So R1 is 4, R2 is 2. 4 minus 2, 2. R1 is 1, R2 is 1. 1 minus 1, 0. R1 is 1, R2 is minus 2. So 1 minus of minus 1 will be 2. R1 is 1, R2 is 0. 1 minus 0, 1. R1 is 0, R2 is 1. So 0 minus 1, minus 1. Now check whether the transformations you have made is correct or not. How to check it is, whatever variables you have written in XB column, check whether it is forming an identity matrix or not. So here you have S1, it is 1, 0, you have X1, it is 0, 1. So they are forming an identity matrix. That means your transformations are correct. Now again calculate Zj. 0 into 2, 0, plus 3 into 2, 6. Again 0 into 0, 0, plus 3 into 1, 3. 0 into 2, 0, 3 into minus 1, minus 3. 0 into 1, 0, 3 into 0, 0. 0 into minus 1, 0, plus 3 into 1, 3. Now find Zj minus Cj. So 3 minus 3, 0. Minus 3 minus 2, minus 5. This is 0. This will be 3. Again I have one negative value. So here this is the most negative and corresponding variable x2. Now x2 should occupy one of these places. So I will find the ratio bi by x2 column. See, remember you have to divide bi with x2 column, that too with only that elements which are positive. Don't divide it with negative and zeros. So here I have 2 by 2. So this is 1. Again I have negative value here, 2 divided by minus 1. So don't do that. Don't find that ratio, just put it blank. Now I have only this ratio, so which is minimum, put a tick mark. Now intersection, now this tick mark is corresponding to which variable? S1. Now S1 should leave the basis, and in place of S1, what I should write? Which will come in place of S1? X2 will come. Okay. So here S1 will leave the basis and X2 will enter the basis. And what is the pivot element here? Corresponding to this most negative and corresponding to this minimum ratio, this is the pivot element. So here this is called as the pivot element. Now I have to go to next step. Suppose you may get a doubt. If here also if I have minus 2, then what is the solution? If all the elements in the most negative column are negative, then that problem is said to have an unbounded solution. So whenever the most negative Zj minus Cj values are negative, then the given problem is said to have an unbounded solution. So here you have one positive value. So this is a pivot element. Now what I have to do? I have to make this pivot element as 1. How will I make that pivot element as 1? I will divide it with that pivot element itself. So this pivot element is corresponding to which row? This is corresponding to first row. So I will make the transformation to the row 1 first. Okay. So R1 will be what? I have to make this pivot element as 1 means I have to divide that entire row with 2. So R1 will be R1 by 2. Now I will make the transformation and write it here. Again you have to draw the simplex table. So you have to keep on repeating this step until you get all Zj minus Cj's as positive. So though the name is simplex, the solution is very complicated. Many steps will be there in the solution. So this is Cb, Xb, Bi, X1, X2, S1, S2, Cj's. Here you have 3, 2, 0, 0. Now X2 is entering, so here I will write X2, here I have X1. Cost of X2 is 2, cost of X1 is 3. Now first row transformation is R1 by 2. So R1 from here we will make the transformations. We will not touch these two columns. We will make transformations from Bi onwards. So 2 by 2 is 1, 0 by 2 is 0, again 2 by 2 is 1, 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2. Now next is R2. What is R2? Here in this corresponding column, the column which is having pivot element, in that column we should make all other elements as zeros except pivot element. So I have to make this as 0. So what will be the transformation now? R2 will be, if I add 1 here, then it will become 0. So what is its corresponding value? Now this is R1. Now this R1 is transformed to this. Now this is R1 and this is R2. So here I have minus 1 and here I have 1. So when I add these two, I will get 0. So R2 will be R2 plus R1. Okay. So when I make the transformation, the elements in the pivot element column will be 0. So this is 2. 2 plus 1, 3. 1 plus 0, 1. Minus 1 plus 1, 0. 0 plus half, half. 1 minus half, half. Now I got. Now you have to check whether your transformations are correct or not. So see the elements which are in the basis XB column are forming an identity matrix or not. Now here x2 should be 1 0, you have 1 0, x1 should be 0 1, you have 0 1. So they are forming an identity matrix. That means your transformations are correct. Now you find Zj. 2 into 1 plus 3 into 3, that will be 11. 2 into 0 plus 3 into 1, 3. 2 into 1 plus 3 into 0, 2. 2 into 1 by 2 plus 3 into 1 by 2. So that will be 5 by 2. 2 into minus 1 by 2 plus 3 into 1 by 2. So this will be 1 by 2. Yeah, minus 2 plus 3. Then you find Zj minus Cjs. So 3 minus 3, 0. 2 minus 2, 0. 5 by 2 minus 0, 5 by 2. 1 by 2 minus 0, 1 by 2. Now you got all Zj minus Cjs as positive. So it means you got an optimum solution. Optimum solution means what? A solution which satisfies the objective function, constraints and non-negative restriction. All these three should be satisfied. Only then that solution is called as optimum solution. So in simplex method, when you will get optimum solution? When all the net evaluations, that is Zj minus Cjs, are greater than or equal to 0. So here I will write, since all Zj minus Cjs greater than or equal to 0 implies optimum solution is obtained. So what is the optimum solution here? What is the solution we got? We got x1 equal to 3 and x2 equal to 1 and z is equals to 11. That is the answer for this problem. So how we will write the solution here? I will write the solution as, therefore maximize z is equals to, okay, how much you are getting? You have 3x1 plus 2x2 in the problem. That means 3 into x1 we got it as 3 plus x2 you got it as 1. So this is 9 plus 2 which is equal to 11. So therefore maximize z is equals to 11 for x1 is equals to 3 and x2 is equals to 1. This is the solution for the given problem. Okay. Then in the next session we will see how to solve a minimization problem using this simplex method.